So, welcome to this Friday's. It's been an eventful sort of week. Sorry about that. I've actually got a post that is like taking off right now. I'm in the middle of a post going viral, and this is like the second or third time I've had one go really viral, and I forget how much I hate it. Oh, hello, hi, good to see you. I'm loving seeing the videos of your pup, so thank you for sharing those, and please continue to keep sharing those. And just shameless plug, if you ever have dog training questions, let me know, because I got good at it because of that jerk right there. Uh, so, yeah, so like this fucking viral post, man. Yeah, she does steal the show. That's what they do. I figure that because Cedric is so expensive, right? I'm gonna feature him in social media because he needs to earn money or help the family earn money. Um, you know, he's got to do something. If he's gonna eat expensive kibble, then he has to earn his keep. And I want live chat. Okay, sorry, trying to stream to two places again. I'm streaming to both YouTube and to TikTok. So if you see me talking to two cameras, trying yet another setup. Yes, please do. I am all about hanging out with everybody's dog. So yes, always feel free to bring your dog. Happy to do it. So yeah, this weird viral post. Like I did this post like 2 days ago. Like I'm looking at the analytics on my website right now, and like the amount of people on my website from this post at this very moment is insane. It's like just blue dots all over the real time. There's actively like 33 people on my website. It's crazy. And it was a post, somebody had asked about why don't we see more male boudoir photography? Why don't, and it almost felt like they were trying to do like a gotcha, like they were going to catch me. And I answered it honestly. And, what I said in that post is a lot of times guys don't typically book portrait sessions as frequently as women do, especially a boudoir portrait session. Men have no problem booking a professional headshot session, but in the big picture, they just don't book the portrait sittings as much. And so I talk about that, and I talk about how a lot of friends are also, or a lot of guys are also nervous to do it, because like if their friends were to find out, your guy friends can be a little caustic and things like that. So I thought that was just going to be like a really simple post. I didn't think it was going to go anywhere, and it's just nonstop. So, which is cool. I certainly, get the. I'm glad it's helping some people. The comments are wild. One of the things that's really kind of bothering me in the comments on that post is the amount of guys that are saying they just hate their bodies. Like I really, I don't want that for anybody, right? Oh, awesome. Well, thank you for being here for that. Like I understand the feeling of not liking one's body. I have experienced it, am experiencing it. My wife and I are both on a fitness journey, right? Like I've been trying to get healthy for a couple years, and when I started my fitness journey, again this time, I topped the scales at around 318. I wouldn't have wanted to jump in front of the camera at that point. At where I am right now, I'm not wild to jump in front of the camera. And I've come a long way. So I completely understand that mindset, but I don't love that for anybody, right? Like it's not it's not a good way to feel. YouTube is asking, hi sir, can I ask you can ask whatever you would like to ask. Please fire questions away. So Now, I can also say, like, I just hired a coach. I've had this coach. He's the guy that put together my lifting routine. And great lifting routine. Like, there's more muscle on my frame now than there ever has been. But my diet has been crap. So hired him to put my diet together. Should have that later today. And I have a goal. And when this machine looks the way that I want it to look, I fully intend on doing a boudoir photo shoot. And I'm probably going to shoot it myself. That's not because of anything other than I just really like the style that I shoot, and there's nobody in my local area that shoots the same style that I do. So, you know, but then like the flip side of it as well, in the not loving our bodies and things, I find it helpful, you know, even when I was at my heaviest and, you know, and where I am now or whatever, is to sometimes be able to take a step back. And it's not easy to do. Like, I'm not saying it is, but to take a step back and go, this machine is really effing cool. And it does some really cool, and the fact that like, the fact that we walk on two legs, like that's cool. Like, and everything that has to happen both, you know, with our nervous systems, with our brains, and with the muscles and everything to make that happen, that's fucking cool. So I don't know. It's been really interesting to see the responses to that video. I hope it actually inspires some men to step in front of the camera, even if it's not for boudoir photography. If it's just you know, just straight up, you know, portraiture, you know, do that. And I, you know, of course, I'm going to say I think everybody should be stepping in front of the camera. And I do, and you can go, well, you're a photographer. Of course you're going to say that. But it's more than that, right? Like, I don't have many photos of my mom, right? Like, I found I got to photograph her a couple of years ago, finally, in a beautiful classic portrait. You know, she broke out all her finery, which she does anyway. And that portrait is now hanging above her fireplace, which is super cool. And, you know, that's something that it means the world to me now. It means the world to her now. But I know at some point in the future, assuming that, you know, nothing happens to me, you know, hold on. Over on YouTube is saying, if a client asks you to Photoshop their ex out of every family photo from the last 10 years, but keep the ex's dog in all of them, would you do it? What's the weirdest edit request I've gotten? I don't know if I would edit somebody's ex out of all the photos. That's a big question, and I'm gonna have to think on that. I've not gotten a lot of weird requests. The weirdest editing request that I've ever gotten, and I actually lost like a $30,000 job because of this. Sean, I'll be there in just a second. I was working with a firm, and a woman on the firm who had aged wanted me to remove every single wrinkle from her face, all of them. And I said no. And like, these were going on billboards and stuff. But I was like, I can soften things, but I will not remove them. It's because it's a lie. You're gonna look fake when people then meet you in person. They're gonna feel like they've been lied to. And so because of that, they went with another photographer. And because of the commercial licensing fees, it would have been about a $30,000 job that I have scruples, so I let it go. On TikTok, Sean's asking, any tips for someone who's extremely self-conscious about being nude in general for boudoir photos? Well, first, you don't have to be unclothed for boudoir photos. A lot of my clients choose to do so, but you don't have to, right? Like, I've done boudoir photos of people in, you know, button-down shirts or in sweaters. Robes are a big thing for me, you know, and for my clients. So there's a lot of different options, because first and foremost, for any portrait, you know, whether that's a classic portrait or a boudoir portrait or a headshot or whatever, for it to be really good, for it to really connect with people, the best version of you needs to be there, and some of that includes feeling like the best version of yourself. Let me give you a clothed example. A lot of people with my classic portrait style, thank you so much, Mr. Kingsbury, I'm at a distance, so I can't read your first name that well. They will feel like they need to put on formal attire to do the kind of portraiture that I do, right? But a lot of people don't feel comfortable in formal attire. So when they put it on, they become a caricature. Like they feel like they have to do a thing. One of the favorite portraits that I've done recently, the person and I were speaking beforehand, and I was like, what do you feel most comfortable in? Like, who are you? And she was like, it's jeans and a white t-shirt. And I was like, that's what we're doing. That's what it is. And the portraits of her are stunning because her essence is coming through. She feels like the best version of her, and it allowed for better connection. I see it a lot with like dudes when I'm doing headshots. Like they'll come in and they're like, I'm supposed to wear a tie because it's a professional headshot. And they put on a tie and you can tell they never wear a tie, right? And I can see it a mile away. And I'll go, okay, do you ever wear a tie? They're like, no. I'm like, well, then take it off. And as soon as they take it off, they relax and they come into it. So, all that back around to the boudoir question, then, you don't have to be nude. Think about what styles and what things you like and what you feel you're best in, and then we build from there. I really wish that YouTube wouldn't keep hiding this chat from me. YouTube asked, would you capture a wedding where they want every image to look like it was taken in the 1800s using modern gear and heavy editing? What's your most historically inaccurate request that I fulfilled? One, I wouldn't shoot a wedding. I don't do weddings. I did a few when I first started the business because I thought that's what I needed to do to have a successful business. I hate shooting weddings, so I don't do them. As for a stylized thing, if somebody requested it and if I thought it was something that I could do, I would absolutely do it, but I would also price appropriately for what it took to make that happen. Over on TikTok, I asked, do I do nude paintings or photos? I don't paint. The last thing you would want to do is put a paintbrush in my hand because I would make a mess. So everything I do is with the camera. Part of my boudoir work does include nude portraits if people want those. Not everybody does, so I photograph people with and without clothes. It's completely up to them what we do, and we talk about that during a consultation, to find out what people want and where they're going to be comfortable. I'm going to come back to that dog question. Stand by. YouTube asked, do I think the perfect photo is one that looks real or that feels real? I feel like the perfect photo is the one that makes the viewer feel something. So, and is not AI. We could have a whole other conversation about AI. How often do I shoot animals? You see the dog in the background there. So the dog in the background there is actually my dog. That's Cedric. He comes to the studio with me from time to time. He hasn't been here in a little bit because I spend 14 days vacuuming when he does. I photograph animals at every chance that I get. I actually also own the website LouisvillePetPortraits.com, so I've done dogs, cats, chickens, did a pig once. I am happy to work with animals as often as possible. Some people do bring them to their portrait shoots. Other people book sessions just for their pets, and I love doing it. So I am a big fan of dogs and cats, and not all animals really. YouTube asked if you could only shoot with one wrong setting forever, like ISO at 12,800 in daylight, which would I pick and why? I don't know. I don't want to shoot with a wrong setting, man. I don't know. These questions are going deep, brother. Or sister, I'm not sure. But I don't know. That's I can't answer that question. I can't think about doing it wrong. Let me think about it. You're throwing multiple questions at me that are making me think, and I had a late night last night. So last night, what I did, I scheduled a creator get together here in Louisville, and just did a general post like, hey creators, when you're making content all the time, it often feels like just screaming into a void. And so I was like, let's get together, let's do some stuff. So we all met up at everybody showed up anyway. Probably had 30 people come out. Met up at a local restaurant and had drinks and had talks, and it was really cool. Hello, the void. It is, man. It's weird doing this content thing because like I spend a lot of time, and if you happen to see my videos, you see a lot of me doing this and talking to my camera with nobody else here, and so then you post stuff and you don't know what people are seeing. Am I having any more events live in Louisville? Probably. I don't know when. Like this first one was just kind of a spur of the moment thing. Like my id took over and was like, hey, let's do this thing. And full disclosure, I am a wildly introverted human being. So putting together a thing like that was well outside of the norm for my brain. But it went well. So I will probably do another one at some point. I don't know when. But it was good. It was really nice to meet some new people. And it was a diverse group that came out last night. Like we had people who do all sorts of different things in different walks of life, and it made for a lot of really interesting conversation. Oh, awesome. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, kind of my thought on doing them as well is like, okay, if we're gonna do these creator get together things, like every time, let's pick a local bar or restaurant and do it on a day when they wouldn't normally be busy, because I don't want to interfere with like their normal traffic. So like I don't want to do like a Saturday night when they're already jumping. So like that's what we did Thursday, because that tartan house isn't normally busy on a Thursday. So like, awesome. Well then let's do this, make a little bit of money for it. And then you've got a bunch of people there with their phones who are also going to make content for the restaurant. It's a win-win-win for everybody. If we can do some good for the local small business community, I am 100% here for that. So I'm gonna have to do a response video for the male boudoir post that's up right now too, because a lot of people are also saying that they would love to do it, but like they can't find a photographer like in a 200-mile radius. So I want to address that because there's some reasons for that. There are some reasons that I must not have seen your question. Can you post it again? Because this thing is scrolling, and then I've got the other one too. So, and that goes for anybody. If I miss your question, please feel free to repost it. I don't take that as spamming. It's just kind of the nature of working with small screens. I will do filler until I see your question again. Now I'm doing really bad filler because I didn't say anything. But yeah, I have to address, there's some reasons that a lot of boudoir photographers are women, and a lot of dudes, not all dudes, not by any stretch, but there's enough dudes out there who've done very creepy things online that make people feel uncomfortable. So I'm not trying to be weird, but is that your home is beautiful? That is not weird at all. Thank you so much. This is actually my studio. So this is the waiting area of the studio. If the couple wanted that, if the couple wanted what? Can you extrapolate on that? So no, this is the lobby sitting room area of the studio. I think your question must be being filtered. That sucks. Okay, how can we get to so your question's not being filtered? Because I genuinely want to answer this. I'm not trying to avoid anything. That's fine. I don't care if sorry, TikTok sends me messages while I'm doing this as well, and it's like, you people not in your fan club. Like, I don't care. That's fine. Please continue trying to ask the question, because I do genuinely want to answer this for you. You know, unless something's ever highly inappropriate, I don't ever want to leave questions just hanging out there. Happy to share whatever knowledge or my thoughts on things. Yeah. And YouTube, you've gone quiet on me. You all can ask questions too. I'm here for that. Make sure I'm not missing anything over here. uh, oh, that sucks. I'm so sorry. Uh, DM me, um, and I will answer that. And I won't be able to see the DM right now because I'm using my phone to do the live. But I genuinely want to answer this question. You know, that's. I'm sorry, man. I'm not trying to leave stuff out there. And I'm sorry if it's filtering the question. Let me see if I can scroll up and find it. Hold on, scrolling. Okay, yeah, I've actually got a notification here that says some comments in this live were filtered to protect the community experience. Um, I saw the paintings or photos one. Yeah, it's not going to show. I am sorry about that. I hate that. Um, I'm so it's like 1984. The Big Brother's watching and censoring, and I'm not a fan of that. Please feel free to DM me, and I will get back with you. Um, so anyway, that's kind of what's been going on there. What else has been going on this week? It's been kind of it's been all over the place. It's been a weird week. So, yeah, and if anybody has any questions, please feel free to throw those at me, and hopefully the system won't filter them on us. Hold on, what's this thing do? And everybody who's tapped hearts, thank you. I appreciate that. Those sorts of things really help these things get found. It has been fun to be consistent with these lives. I've been doing them every Friday around, noon 30, 1 o'clock. Just like chatting with y'all. So, what is boudoir? So, a lot of different ways to answer that question. The easiest way to answer it is in modern parlance. It would be defined as just intimate photography, and there's different styles. The style that I do, as you can kind of see back here, getting ready to do a photo shoot with horses as a fundraiser. What do you think the issues with that? I will come back to that. That's a good question. So I do a more artistic style of boudoir photography. Think more like what you might see in a museum, but they're intimate images. I don't even really consider what I do to be boudoir photography. I just use the term because people know to search for it. Other styles of it, a lot of people use a lot of lingerie. Some of it is meant to be more titillating. It just depends on what people are going for. A little bit more racy. My work does not tend to go towards the racy vibe. More the sort of thing, you could show your grandma and not be embarrassed. So yeah, it's a pretty broad genre. It's a French word. The boudoir was typically a room that sat between like a dining room and a sitting room, where the woman of the house at the time could retire if she just needed a little break from her company or was overwhelmed. It later became a term used for a bedroom. So that's why it ends up for this style of photography, because people think, oh, bedroom, more intimate, etc., etc. So that's what boudoir is. I'm going to make a whole video, like long form video on that soon, because it's a question that comes up a fair amount. So thank you for that question. Over on YouTube, asks, getting ready to do a photo shoot with horses as a fundraiser. What do you think would be the issues with that? First and foremost, make sure that the horse, if you're using strobes, that the horses aren't freaked out by flashing lights. I would make sure that I have a horse handler, someone who knows how to handle a horse, because it's not going to be something that you're going to be able to focus on. Like, focus, photography joke. Sorry. So that would be the sort of thing. If you're photographing people with the horses, I would also make sure that that handler knows how to direct people and how to act around horses. I'm glad this just popped up. Thank you for following, and thank you for watching the live. If you have questions, throw them at me, man. That's awesome. Thank you. Welcome. So it's like safety would be the big thing with me with horses, because they are rather large animals that can do a lot of damage. So that'd be where I'd start. You know, I had a lot of variables, you know, but having additional hands there are going to be your friend. For sure. Hold on, my screen just went out over here. Hold on. Yeah, because my my website is still going nuts off of that post. The Confused says, I wanted to do those for my girlfriend, but man, I don't think I'm fit enough. I live in Utah. It's not a matter of being fit enough. Like, fit doesn't matter. It's are you comfortable in your skin? Like, I have photographed people of all shapes and sizes. I have photographed curvier people who are very confident in themselves and their skin, and images are absolutely gorgeous. I have photographed very small people who were not comfortable in their skin, and it was more of a challenge because they were being self-conscious. So the size and the shape doesn't matter. It's where you are mentally with it. And, you know, and that's a journey for everybody. Nobody is the same in those situations. I was saying earlier on the live, like, I fully intend to photograph myself soon. You know, my goal is for my birthday, much later in the year, but I'm not 100% comfortable in my skin right now. I'm better. I've been doing a lot of work, but I'm not where I want to be, and that's okay. So when I get it there, you know, I'll do the shoot. But here's the other thing. This is for me. This isn't for everybody too. I'm not doing it for my wife. Like, she'll see it, and that's cool. I'm doing it for me. Like, this is straight up for me. Like, I'm 48 years old, and I'm getting this vessel into the best shape that it's ever been in, and it's never going to. I'm just gonna keep getting older. It will never look that way again. So if I'm gonna put in the amount of work that I'm putting in, I want to photograph it, man, and be able to look back and go, I did that. Way to go, me. So all that to say, if you want to do it, brother, do it. Do it. You know, we only live once. You know what I mean? Okay, the AI summary that YouTube or the TikTok just threw up on this is: a photographer answers questions on boudoir and equine photography. That a weird mix. I love that. How can I go from good photography to great? Is asked on TikTok. Thank you so much. So to go from good to great is take photos, take more photos, and then take photos. And then when you're done, take another photo, and then take another photo, right? So it's reps. It's take a set of photos, take those, do whatever your processing it is, be critical, not hard on yourself, but critical. This went well, this didn't go well, this light looked good, I could improve this light this way. And so you look at the images and you critique them, or have a mentor, critique them if there's somebody that you work with, and then you shoot again, and it's every time getting a little bit better. I'm sorry to use this analogy because I'm on a weightlifting journey, but it's the same as lifting weights. So it's like my goal every time I go to the gym to lift is to lift a little bit more every day, whether that's doing one more rep or adding 5 pounds, right? So it's the same thing with progressing with your photography. It's every day, every time you shoot, a little bit better, a little bit better. And the cool thing about this and this journey is that we never stop improving and we never stop learning, and it never, our tastes will change, our styles will change. You know, like I picked up a camera again in 2012 and officially opened my business in 2013. If you were to look at my work from 2013 to my work now, night and day. Like, they're not the same thing. You know, so it's that journey, but that's what makes it fun too, right? Like, if I just wanted to be repetitive every day, I'd go get an office job. And I don't want to do that. I want to keep learning and growing and creating new things and pushing myself. And, you know, my ADHD requires dopamine. So making new pretty things really helps out with that. Good question. But yeah, just shoot. And like, especially like if you can figure out what you really love to shoot, which took me time. Like it took me probably a year and a half to really go, here's where I am and here's what I want to do. And that really kind of changed it. But okay, so things that you enjoy to do can also change. Like when I really started going, like headshots were the thing, and they're still the major thing. Like I love shooting headshots. The portrait and boudoir stuff was an accident. Like I wasn't planning on any of this, right? And I stumbled into it and love it. I love doing it, you know. And there's a part of me now getting an itch. Like I want to go get a ginormous like 600 millimeter thing and a bunch of camouflage and go sit in the field and photograph birds. And you know, maybe that's just my middle age showing, but there's also something that just sounds really peaceful about that. And you know, so yeah, just go shoot. I think it's with anything that you do too, right? Like cooking, you know, it's like the more you cook and the more you get experience with, you know, learning how to control heat and what flavors are gonna work best with, you know, whatever, like you get better, then you get a little bit of confidence and you start experimenting and whatever. Oh, you are so welcome. Thank you for the question. I greatly appreciate it. I love questions on these things, on these lives, because I could sit here and just ramble for an hour, but it's more fun to be interacting with you. Thank you, Moose One. That dog photo I was talking about that's my boy. That's Cedric. He comes to the studio with me here and there. I love him to death. He is a jerk because he's a husky. That creature, when we adopted him from the Humane Society when he was like 3 months old. He came with some bad habits. So because of him, I got really deep into dog training, and we figured out how to work together, and he's a good boy. We did get him through his AKC Canine Good Citizen. So, and what's cool about doing that kind of training too, is like I get to take him places. So like anywhere that's like pet friendly, he'll go with me. So like Lowe's and Home Depot, he goes. Apple Store, he's been there with me. There's a record shop, like secondhand record shop here in town. And there's a couple locations, and they're pet friendly. So like we went record shopping a couple weeks ago. Actually, I did a vlog with that up on YouTube. Yeah, so he gets to go do cool stuff. I would, you know, the cats are perfectly happy to sit in the house and never go out. I think with him, it's more important, you know, that mental stimulation is big for him. So, but thank you. Because of him, I now own the website LouisvillePetPortraits.com as well. So people bring me their dogs and cats. I've had a chicken. I've done a pig. So, and now that my studio as street level. Like if somebody wanted to bring a horse in here, they're welcome to. They just have to clean up any messes. But So how many of you, and I don't know how many are actually watching right now, how many of you are brand new to me and are just finding me because of the male boudoir post that I did 2 days ago, a day ago? That's going just crazy right now. There's 30 people on my website all over the country right now because of that post. Hi, Ashley. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And please feel free to ask any questions. If you don't ask a question here right now, but you have a question in the future, please feel free to. And thank you for the rose as well. That's awesome. Or roses. Feel free to fire. I love answering questions on this stuff. Because as I was saying earlier, sometimes this just all feels like screaming into a void. And I'm trying to make new longer form content over on YouTube as well. I know I'm not supposed to mention the other places, but whatever, it's fine. So I'm doing like some client facing stuff and answering how to get ready. Here's oh, thank you. I love this. Okay, so Cincinnati, your art museum in Cincinnati is phenomenal, right? If you ever go to the Cincinnati Museum of Art, up on the second floor, there's a painting called Woman Drying Her Hair by an artist named Joseph DeCamp. That portrait, where is it over here? Boop, that was inspired by that painting. And that's what actually launched the boudoir side of my business. I was like never actually gonna, I had no interest in doing boudoir photography because I yank it on, lingerie and stuff, just not my jam. I don't care. So I saw that painting, got inspired. I was like, I wonder if I could do that. So we did, and then people saw it and went, oh, it can be artistic. So that's your museum is the reason I'm a boudoir photographer. What's my favorite Renaissance portrait or painting? Oh Lord, that's like asking somebody who's their favorite kid. I mean, there's a million. There. Ugh, I don't know that I can answer that question. I can name some of my favorite artists, and they won't just be Renaissance. Like John Singer Sargent is a huge inspiration for me. There's a Cincinnati artist from the same era. I just forgot his name. It was right on the tip of my tongue. It'll come back to me. It'll come back. I just saw it exhibit like right after COVID, an exhibit of his up there that was fantastic. It's a sculptor, Hiram Powers, who what he did with marble is just magical. Vermeer, Rembrandt, the big names I adore. Gainsborough, I love. It's like every name just walked off of my screen. There's so many. I get inspired by so many different artists, and not just painters as well. I mean, there's photographers like Platon, Richard Avedon, of course Leibowitz, Seliger. Those guys all make me want to be better. Some of my mentors as well. I'm Peter Hurley. Big influence on my work. Hello, greetings from Italy. Saw your video about imposter syndrome. I really, oh, thank you so much. And hello, Italy. That's awesome. I appreciate you watching it. And yeah, man, imposter syndrome. I go through it and like trying to do these longer form videos that I'm trying to do. I'm struggling with it right now. Going, what do I know? Why is anybody gonna watch this stuff? And so I get it, man. And I would love to be like, oh, here's how you get past imposter syndrome. You really don't. It's just, there's no getting around it. There's going through it. And yes, Italy absolutely has some amazing artists and museums. Getting over to the other continent, that particular other continent, and visiting all of the countries is on my bucket list of things to do. Big challenge with it right now is my wife hates to fly, hates it. and unfortunately, a lot of the things that could help her sleep or whatever don't touch her. So I'm afraid if I ever have to go do it, we're gonna have to like book out like 2 months so we can either go by boat, or I'm gonna, you know, be like, I love you so much. I'm sorry you can't go with me, and I'll go by myself. But I think we'll figure it out when that time comes. Yeah, I would love to go there. Yeah, it's maybe what I need to do is just like book a photography tour. That's what I should do. I should put out a thing and you book a F ton of sessions all over Europe and use that to fund my travel to go visit me. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Huh. Trevor, I saw that you were here. Hi, good to see you. So, and YouTube, you've gone quiet on me again, right? Or have I missed? Have I missed? Because I'm trying to figure out the best way to be able to like stream to both platforms at the same time. And now I'm using 2 devices, and I keep running into various things, and I'm waiting on a stream key so that I can use my desktop to do this, but we'll get it there. Yeah, get it there sooner or later. What other questions do you guys have? I've been flapping my gums for about 40 minutes. Oh, nice. Went to Rome and Venice, your honeymoon. Love that. My wife and I, for our honeymoon, rented a cabin on a Christmas tree farm. we were very on the cheap at that much. How do you get a boudoir client? Says Trevor. So Trevor, coming from you is killing me. But you need to put together a portfolio of work that shows what you do and how you do it, so that you have something to be able to show people. If you can't show it, you can't sell it. So when I started building my boudoir portfolio, I brought some models into the studio. Thank you so much for the rose. And I made a portfolio of work. Then from there, I was able to start marketing with it and go, here's what I do, here's what the work looks like. I recorded behind the scenes video so I could show what the experience looks like. In the modern era, nice. In the modern era, you need to be doing short form video and showing people process a fair amount. If you're a photographer and don't know how to get started with short form video, sorry for the cheap plug, there is a link in my bio to a course that I made that is short form video for photographers that will get you going. I know it works because y'all are here, and I book sessions because of my short form video. So you need to be doing that. And there's you need to have a strong website. Your website now also needs to be getting ready for AI. If you're not already doing things to make your website be recommended by AI, then you are falling behind. And believe it or not, short form video is a part of that as well. Hold on, a question over on YouTube. Come back. Oh, nice. So I'm getting you on both things. Hold on. So if I wanted to get into the pet photography market, what would be the first 3 steps? So sort of the same thing that I was just saying about, not bad English, no, you're great. Same thing if I was gonna get into pet photography as I did with boudoir photography. I would shoot a portfolio. Actually, when I was building out my pet portrait side of the business, that's what I did. I didn't have a lot of pet stuff, so I did a model call for pets. And I brought in like 10 different people and their pets, and photographed them and built my portfolio so I could show what I do and sell it. And then if I was doing it with the pet side of things, I would get in touch with local dog groomers, veterinarians, doggy daycares, etc. And I would go leave behind type material. So, like for example, I'm out of boudoir ones, but like I leave these sorts of things behind at places like where my ideal clients might be. I would have a rock solid website that was SEO'd. I would have a very good social media presence. Got a million things, a million things. But it's a, I hate to say it, grind to get in front of it, but it's doing all those different things and putting together a plan on, okay, I'm going to work on this today, and then this, and then this, and just laying it out. Otherwise, you get overwhelmed. If you get to, enjoy the life of, living with ADHD like I do, if you don't plan it out, you're going to hit analysis paralysis pretty quickly. I deal with that. I'm actually dealing with it now, and am trying to get better about laying some stuff out and just attacking one thing at a time. One thing I'm attacking right now is I just switched from ChatGPT over to Claude, and fellow photographer and educator Matt Stagliano just put out a book. We're gonna get those printed, and did you lay it out yourself? Stand by, I'll come back to that. But he put out like an ebook for like $37 on like how to set up Claude to like work for you like really, really well. So I'm going through that and like making files to plug into things, and it's magical. Why you got a medieval castle? I don't. It's like 2,000 square feet in a strip mall. So a castle would be far cooler, and the roof would probably leak less. YouTube asked where I got these, and then I laid them out myself. I don't remember the size because I haven't done this in forever, but it's the 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's the 4-panel double-sided card. You'll find it on their website. It's through Bay Photo is where I got them from, but a bunch of different print labs do some variation of this. You can download their Photoshop template, so you can plug everything in and it fits. So I'm not paid by Bay Photo. I'd love to be, but yeah, that's where I get. And these are great. Like I have another one just for boudoir work as well, because I have a separate boudoir website because I have to. Like there's a stash of these at my massage therapist, for example. So like, and the boudoir ones go far faster than the portrait ones do. Do I run Claude on Mac Mini or main PC? I'm still just using the browser version, but if I fully download the app, then I'll just be running it off of my my laptop that I'm actively working on, unless I find that it starts like chewing up all my memory and stops me from being able to work. Who do I recommend for photo books? Like albums? Okay, James, buddy, the first person to make a Jonathan Davis reference like a year ago wasn't funny, and a year later, I now just find the question very annoying. So, have a nice day. Photo books. You're talking about albums. So, these are the albums that I offer. I go through Bay Photo for these as well. I think this is the Pacific, I think this one's called. It's been a minute. So I do, yes, very good. Unlike a wedding photographer, I do like 1 image per page, big, thick pages as well. I also, I don't do different cover options. I want to make people's life easy. So I used to use the black leather or fake leather, depending on who I'm working with, covers. But yeah, Bay Photo, I'm a big fan of Bay. They've taken very good care of me over the years. So definitely check them out. Their customer service is fantastic as well. They do good stuff. Thank you for the rose. Appreciate that. Y'all's questions are great today, y'all. Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. And it's like, I don't have Cash App. If you're so inclined, I do have Venmo. It's just at Ben Markham. Please feel free, but you're under no obligation. But I'm not going to say. Okay, so a thing that I learned from a mentor many moons ago was a Sue Bryce talk, actually. And I just demonstrated this as well. She talks about money blocks, and it's like, you know, if somebody's like, here, let me give you money, and people will be like, no, 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 as opposed to, cool, thanks. So I just did it. I just totally did it. So, but I'm happy to answer questions. Hello, shark. It's been a while since I've swam a shark. I'm a scuba diver as well. I haven't gone diving in years, but so no, I've been in the ocean and hung out with sharks, and they're super. Well, they don't care about you unless they think you're food. So thus far, I've not been foodish. Now, what other questions, y'all? This has been good. I'm kind of dreading the follow-up video that I'm gonna make. I did not do any underwater photography because I don't have the gear to do it, and like I know the lighting is different and a lot of things. There were some people on our trip who were doing it who, like, you know, like on one dive would like go leave all their stuff and like tether it off to like a rock or something on the bottom, and then let it get used to the water. Acclimatized? Am I making up words? And then on their next dive, they would go around and do stuff. You know, the closest I got was like my brother-in-law had a GoPro or whatever. Beautiful little Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal. I don't know what to make of that. But good afternoon, good to see you. I probably already said it, but just joining, what camera do I use? I use my main camera is the Nikon D850, and my backup camera is a Nikon D800. So, you know, both my cameras are up in age, but they work beautifully. I like water from the, like water from the shore. It's water from the shore is cool too, but there is something really kind of magical about dropping to 100 feet and, you know, seeing the world down there. One dive that we did that was like super cool was in the Bahamas. We were coming back, and there are these structures on the ocean floor called blue holes, and it's just literally like it'd be like this big just sand bed for as far as you can see, and then there'd just be this giant F-off hole, right? And so we were going through at a time of the shark migration. And so like we go to do this dive, we drop to the sandy bottom at about 30 feet and kick along to the hole. There's nothing out in the sand, right? You look over the side of the hole, and as far as you can see, and it just goes in the blackness, it was just sharks. Thousands and thousands of sharks just circling. And so we dropped into this hole, and I think I went down to around 75 feet on that dive with all it would, surreal doesn't describe it. It was just wild. And like, then I also get to be like, how cool is that I'm like probably, you know, statistically one of the few people on the planet that got to see that and experience it. And that's one of the things I love about diving. So I get to see parts of the planet that not everybody gets to. No, I have seen sharks. I love sharks. Sharks are great. I've been on feet. So over on YouTube, they say you say that till you see a shark. So I've done photography for an aquarium, but don't you get to dive in the tanks and do stuff? Like I've been on like shark feeding dives, and at that point the sharks are basically trained. So like basically what happens is the dive boat will pull up to a wreck or something, and the sharks know when the boat comes up, they're gonna get fed. And all of us divers, you know, we strap our gear and we all drop to the bottom, or, you know, hang on to the boat or whatever. You know, the dive master jumps in with a cooler and is like hunkered over it, right? And they get to the bottom and they pull out this giant ball of frozen chum, hook it off to a line, and get out of Dodge. And then the sharks frenzy. So there's hundreds and hundreds of sharks coming up, bam, 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 bam. They're just hitting this ball of frozen chum. and until it's gone, and then they go off and they'll swim around or wherever you swim around with the sharks. You don't want to swim around while they're eating because they will bite you. But yeah, you kick around with them, and then you'll find shark teeth on the bottom at that point too. It's really cool. Yeah, I think the Cincinnati Aquarium also will let divers go in, but they're going to make you clean the tank too. You need to do more diving. More. I do need to do more diving. The people that my normal dive companions have aged a little bit and aren't as comfortable. For the past several years, my fitness was in really bad shape. So I would not have been a good dive partner, but we're working on that. It's better. Cardio is much better. I am not as positively buoyant as I once was, but I will. I've got some more work to do there, but we're doing it. Oh, cool! I didn't know the Indianapolis Zoo had one. I lived in Indy for like 8 years or whatever. I think I only went to the zoo once or twice. One time I was there with a date, like my senior year of high school or something, and a kangaroo got out of the enclosure, and so we're just kicking along, and we see this kangaroo go hopping by, and we're like, well, that's not supposed to happen, and then like here comes like 3 zookeepers with a tranquilizer, and it's like, I don't want to F around with a kangaroo. That sounds like a bad day. Yeah, Newport, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. Close to Cincinnati. Still like 30 people, like I'm watching people come and go on the website from that post. Like still like 30 people on it. Went shark grabbing once. You're brave. You are a brave human. I've swum with them. Swam? Well, swam. Whatever. I'm from Kentucky. My English doesn't have to be good. And you know, I've had them get too close, and I've pushed their noses. Said, can only do it once. Yeah, I would probably listen to the doctor. Actually, I would probably say maybe you don't need to do it anymore at all. It's you know, I don't like being gnawed at by sharks. I think this is the first live that I've done where I've talked about scuba diving. So thank you all for being my first. I don't know how we went from talking about boudoir photography to sharks. Yeah, they are weird feeling. They are totally weird feeling. What other questions y'all got? I've been going for about an hour, and this has been a blast. You all have been making my Friday really quite enjoyable. Thank you. This is my last weekend of joy before I go on this stricter diet plan that the coach has put together for me. So I'm going to enjoy cocktails and a new record this evening, and probably eat things this weekend that I shouldn't, because Monday I get very strict with it. And I've started, if anybody cares, for the fitness journey thing, I've started channels for that as well. So it's just, excuse me, it's Rebuilding Ben Markham or Rebuilding Ben, depending on where. So if you're interested in following along with the fitness journey, you know, it's going to be talking about weightlifting and dieting and changes that I'm seeing and check-ins and all of that. You need to do a photo shoot for your grad stuff. Awesome. What are you shooting for your grad project? I keep seeing these AI summaries. It's wild. An AMA with a photographer sharing stories from scuba diving with sharks. I'm in my studio, David. Are you asking like what city I'm in? No, lot of flash and color. Awesome. I look forward to seeing what it is. That's awesome. It sounds like a fun project. I'm in Kentucky, David. I'm in Louisville, Kentucky. Lots of you know, bourbon and horse racing and baseball bats. Good food scene here too. If you're ever, we have a fantastic food scene. Oh, that's awesome. Using landscape photography to start hiking. That's fantastic. Good excuse to get outside. If you're anything like me, uh, you're inside too much. I think I think like a lot of the reason for a lot of my depression over the past year actually was low vitamin D. You know, a part of other things too. Yes, beautiful Victorian homes. We have the largest collection of Victorian homes in one neighborhood in the country, in Old Louisville. Beautiful homes. They're around Christmas time. Some folks do, not folks, but there's a few places that do like the haunted Old Louisville tours. How did I get started with photography and did I go to school for it? Hold on, I'm about to have to answer because TikTok wants to make sure I'm actually here. Hold on. Boop. Thanks, TikTok. Okay, so my photography story. I took a photography class when I was in high school, my senior year of high school, 95, 96. Previous to that, a friend put like a Pentax K1000 in my hand and showed me the basics of exposure and whatever. So took this photography class. They didn't really teach us anything about creating portraits or anything like that. It was really more how to use a darkroom. You know, set up the still life and go use a darkroom, whatever. I was a theater kid, so I started work as a sound engineer, sound designer for professional theater when I was 15. Started getting paid for it when I was 15. So I went the theater route and didn't really shoot anything. So worked in professional theater for 20 years. Early midlife crisis, left the theater. There's a longer story to it than that, but whatever. As I was leaving the theater, what I was doing first was I was building websites. And, you know, for small businesses. Didn't go great. For somebody needed some shots for a website, stock photography is expensive. And I was like, why don't I just buy a camera? I'll go shoot it. That's fine. And it's a tax write-off. When I'm not doing that, I can take pictures of the dog. That'll be effing awesome. And that started it. Now, in the beginning, that was 2012. I was not what one would call good. 2013, I decided to start the business, and that's kind of how I got into it. I was really building the plane as I was flying it. So yeah, that's it. At the beginning, I shot everything, weddings, babies, candy, you know, whatever, because I thought that's what I needed to do to have a go at business. I eventually decided, my brain kind of clicked and I was like, okay, well, you worked in the theater for 20 years. You've been around headshots your entire life. You know what headshots are. Shoot headshots, do that. And at the time, there was nobody in Louisville, Kentucky specializing in doing professional headshots. So I was like, cool, we're gonna niche into that. I'm gonna be Louisville's headshot guy. Problem was I sucked at it because I know a lot of people go, oh, headshots, how hard can they be? It's head and shoulders, easy peasy. Headshots are hard. They're very, very hard, and it's very hard to do without some training. And you know, a lot of people do them badly, but there's not a lot of good ones. I ended up finding Peter Hurley, and ended up joining his training program, the Headshot Crew. When I joined, it was still what was it called before Headshot Crew? I forget, but it was called something else. So I'm a pseudo OG Headshot Crew guy, and that happened. I became Louisville's headshot guy, and then from there I stumbled into the portrait and boudoir side of things, and it took me forever to figure out what sort of style I wanted to do with that and what that wanted to look like. But yeah, I'm self-taught. I'm through Hurley's program. University of YouTube, a lot of making mistakes, and then learning from them. And that, you know, it still happens today. I still make mistakes and learn from them. So thank you for the question. You used to work for Olin. Are Olin Mills's? Are they still around? I don't see them anymore. Heck, we just had one of the last glamour shots in the world closed. You know, there's like not too far from me. They just closed down. So Yes, making mistakes is 100% a part of the process. That's totally, you know, I had my theater run was great. I'll talk crap about it from time to time, but I really had a good run in professional theater, and a big part of that process was also mistakes. You know, I was very good at what I did. I was one of the best sound designers in the country, um, but I still made mistakes, and because that's, you know, I think that's part of being an artist. Like I think if you're not making mistakes, you're not doing it right, because without mistakes you're not learning stuff, right? You know, nothing new and exciting comes from a comfort zone, right? So, you know, I don't get mad about mistakes. I might get frustrated in a moment, but I don't get mad at them, you know, because that's where growth comes from, and you know, I'm really grateful for that. Any other question, Joe? What time? It's almost 2 o'clock. Holy smokes! This has been good. You guys have been awesome today. I really appreciate all of the questions. Thank you so much for the rose. Um, the you know, it's a yeah, that's the same stuff. My profession. It's true. It's true, man, and it's, you know, I'm coming at it from a place where I've been a working artist for shit 38 years now. I feel old. Holy cow! I've never really kind of put that together. What's my go-to lens? My 70 to 200 VR2 rarely leaves my camera. Rarely. You know, it's, I will occasionally throw a 50 mil on there. The What's nice about what I do is I'm very, very niche. I don't do a lot of stuff. I don't need a ton of gear. I'm not a big gear head. You know, I don't need the latest and greatest. I don't need a million things. Um, you know, I've got my headshot lighting set up, which is all just like Paul Buff Alien B stuff. It's not crazy expensive lighting. And then I've got two Einstein set up for my portrait stuff, you know, and two lenses. Well, three if you count an old crappy one that I use as a backup if everything else died. But man, it's the joy of being just a studio photographer that has really just niched into some stuff. Boy, I save a lot of money on equipment. And I've not played with the mirrorless cameras yet. I may at some point. Um, how do you get your kids to stop squirming because they expect light and flash to go? Okay, so the this kids are more difficult. I'm not gonna, you know, say they're not, because kids get bored. Um, it's distracting them. And you don't have long to do it, right? And I do this with everybody that I photograph too, because if people are expecting to click, then they start acting or they do whatever. So it's distracting them for, like, it's a micro distraction. So, you know, like for me, you know, like I say things like to my headshot clients to make them forget about the camera for half a second. You know, I mean, silly shit like, you know, hello, good afternoon. You know, I silly shit like, you know, if you had to choose which one's your favorite ear, and it's so absurd when they're in there that they then think about, and then I get a reaction, right? And I have that much time because they also process, oh, he just said something stupid to try to make me laugh. So, you know, so when you go that route, don't like don't be like out here, say it and then come in. Like you've got to be like at your viewfinder, ready to go. Unless you're one of those people that use the back of your screen, can't do it. I don't judge, I just can't do it. But you've got to be ready to shoot. So as soon as they do the thing, and boom, you go. So it's tough. It depends on the kids. Like I've had some kids here in the studio who are absolute angels and will school photographer. So you're working fast. You're working crazy fast. Yeah. So I don't count. Like don't do the okay smile or 1, 2, 3 because now they're anticipating, right? So if they're anticipating, okay. So many years ago, many years, I used to be on Kentucky's high-powered rifle team. So I shot in national competitions and all that sort of stuff. When I was really training, like I was always good, but then when I was like training for competition, an old timer, because there's like one of the things that we do where you just one round at a time. So you know, go, load, go, right? So old timer, old dude, was loading for me. So I would take my shot, hand him my weapon, and then he would load. So um, have a good time in the studio, man. I'm excited to see what you make. Um, Thank you for saying I'm amazing. People have been coming and going. Tell more people to come. Thank you. So he was loading my weapon for me. So, and he had noticed that I was doing something that I was anticipating. I was anticipating the boom. And so he put a round in that was a dead round, right? So hands it back to me. I set up and I go to do the thing, you know, weapon click. And I went, because I leaned into the shot, and that's why everything was going off, right? So once he pointed that out to me, I could then correct the move. So it's the same thing, like if people in front of you, if you're counting 1, 2, 3, or say cheese or whatever, now they're anticipating, so they're gonna lean into it, right? If you can distract them for a second or make them forget about the camera, then they relax, and you get that long, but that's where you get the great shots, and that's where really genuine stuff happens. Great question, and I don't envy you being a school photographer. Somebody asked me about it. I was, because of the controversy that happened with the files in that school photography company. I got a few calls from people going, "Hey, do you want to come do these schools?" And I was like, "Absolutely not. Thank you so much." Like I don't have the infrastructure to do the sales and all that stuff that goes along with it. I think it would also exhaust me. so, so kudos to you. That is a big undertaking. So I'm delicate, man. I don't want to leave my studio. I have control of everything in here. Y'all make me blush when you say things like, "You're amazing." I appreciate it. Just make me blush. That's why I grow the beard, so you can't tell. Okay, so of the people who are here, how many of you have found me because of the big post that was up yesterday? It's still going nuts about the male boudoir photography. Because I have to make a response video to some of that here in just a little bit. How far out am I booking sessions? Typically, oh, awesome. Thank you for following me from that post. Woohoo! I did not expect that response on that post. I thought it was just a simple answer. I haven't had anything do that in forever. Oh, awesome. Awesome. How far am I booking out? I typically book out a couple weeks. So that, okay, so I will only do one portrait or boudoir session a week. Done. Won't do more than it. If you were to call and try to book me today, we would be looking at a minimum of 4 to 6 weeks out, just based off my current schedule. And I want to make sure that you've got enough time to, if you need to do any shopping, if there's any, like hair appointments, nail appointments, any of that stuff that you need to schedule and get done. And it also gives us some time for planning. Like I'm a planner with sessions. So if people like know what clothing they're going to wear or not wear for a session, I will often ask for like mirror selfies and those if it's not intimate apparel. I don't want selfies in intimate apparel. Just like laid out under bed or something is fine for that, whatever. That enables me to let my artist brain kind of run a little bit and helps me go, okay, great. So for that garment, I know I'm gonna want this chair, or I'm gonna want to do that. It just lets me think a little bit. Not that like creativity doesn't happen on the day of; it very much does. I just like going in with a little bit of a foundation and a little bit of a plan beforehand. I can also then show the makeup artist anything beforehand, be like, okay, here's the colors we're working with, and blah blah blah. Here's what the person looks like. Here's what their hair is. I am in Kentucky. I'm in Louisville, Kentucky, home of the Kentucky Derby. The first leg of the Triple Crown. I'm not selling for Louisville. I'm just being a goof. Lots of bourbon, lots of baseball bats, lots of horses. This town's about to get kooky. So Derby season is wild. Lots of events happened the couple weeks leading up to Derby, and then Derby week itself, this town basically shuts down. Like, people go to work, nobody goes to work. Comment over on the YouTubes. Hold on, let me find you. As a high school photographer, headshot crew member, or a headshot photographer, how do you go about finding a makeup artist to work with? Okay, so I would love for you to book with me. Yeah, we could talk about this. But my hairstylist is a little. Oh, awesome! Yeah. So the first step is booking a consultation. So if you're wanting to do a portrait or boudoir shoot, you book a consultation. You go to the website, links in my bio. We can do that via Zoom, or you can come to the studio if you're here. But yeah, we'll talk about how you want to be photographed, go through pricing, the whole thing. So yeah, I'd love to work with you. That's awesome. So I was asked on YouTube, how do I go about finding a makeup artist to work with? My pleasure. Thank you for asking. So finding a makeup artist was a process. When I first was getting going, I worked with a couple different people, and the experiences weren't the best. I was at that time down here. There was a really active model and art community thing going on, and so I was shooting with these makeup artists, and they weren't quite working out and doing the things that I wanted. Pam, the head of the makeup artist team that I work with now, and I disagree on this a little bit. But we were at an event somewhere. I met Pam, who heads the team that I work with, and one of us was like, we should go get a coffee. And so we did a coffee, and was like, let's test each other out, see if we like each other, and go from there. We ended up working together, and that was 2014, 2015, something like that. And I've been working with that makeup artist team, since then, and only that makeup artist team. I won't work with anybody else. I have this, A, their work is effing brilliant. B, I have this whole loyalty thing. And I'm like, nope, that's my team. The only way I would work with another artist right now is if I was in another state, which I have done. If I didn't have the beauty patrol here, or let's say that I moved and had to go open the business in another state, I would look for wedding makeup artists first, because what I'm looking for, I don't want a weekend warrior makeup artist. I don't want somebody who's just doing makeup for social media and trying to be an influencer and sell product and all of that stuff. I want a makeup artist that works consistently, understands different lighting situations, biggly boo. And that's where I would start. I might look at somebody from a makeup counter, like a Sephora or something like that. But for me, and because of how I schedule, because I just work Monday through Friday. I don't do weekends. So it's been very advantageous. It's kind of a kismet for me, because I don't do weekends. They're booked up with weddings on weekends. So 98.7% of the time, I don't have a problem booking a makeup artist for my clients, because they're available during the week. So that's been a godsend. But yeah, that's what I would do. And audition a few. It's like it's like if you were in a band and you lost a band member, you're gonna audition a few different people. I mean, how many drummers have the Foo Fighters gone through since Taylor died? Right? They're trying people. How many drummers did they go through before Taylor? So I would set up test shoots with people and be, I'm not going to test somebody out on a paying client, because I'm not going to waste a client's money. So I would be very upfront with the makeup artist. Like, we're going to do a trade show, or if I had to pay them for it, I will. But let's see if this is going to be good. See if we like each other. There's got to be there's got to be chemistry between the makeup artist and the photographer. And the entire makeup artist team that I work with and I and I mainly work with Pam, the head of the thing, but I work with other members too if Pam's not available. We've got a chemistry, you know, and so we know how each other move, we know how each other work. We're both really good at reading the room, and you know, she's very good at being able to read my face. I'm good at being able to read her face. It's like it just that chemistry's got to be there. So that's where I would go. Good question. I like that question, and nice to see a headshot crew member here. Love that as well. I should start, you know, jumping on more crew casts or whatever. It's been a while. Peter was supposed to set up a discount code for you guys to get my my course on making short form video for photographers. So ask him about that, or DM me, and I'll, you know, if you're a headshot crew member, talk to Peter about that. Really interested in the idea of this. I live in South Texas. Can we talk more? Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Love to. We can send a mustache and a hat. That's awesome. Yeah, just let me know. You know, people have traveled to me for portrait sessions. I've had people come from Chicago. I've had Nashville. Had somebody come from Iowa. Had somebody come from Seattle. Like lovely human being. Jumped on a plane in the morning, flew from Seattle to Louisville. We did her boudoir session, finished up. She went and got lunch, jumped back on a plane, and flew back to Seattle in the same day. That was pressure. That was pressure for me, because I was like, oh, don't screw this up, and I didn't. The photos are gorgeous, but that was a hell of a compliment. You know, somebody would like my work enough to fly across the country for it. So I need to start being better about, like, if I travel, like doing travel announcements, that I'm going to be in a place too. Like, there's a possibility that I go to North Carolina next January for Imaging USA. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind yet. But I was like, if I'm going to go down there, I should book some shoots, or I should, you know, schedule a workshop and do some teaching. I don't know. 82 minutes. We've been going for actually almost 83 minutes. This is nuts. You guys are great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I tell you what, guys. I am going to shut these down. This has been awesome. It's been so awesome. Thank you, guys. My goal, unless I have a client in the studio, is to do this every Friday. So normally going to be around 12:30 or 1. So please feel free to join these. Be sure you're following. If you want to follow the fitness journey stuff that I was talking about earlier, it's just Rebuilding Ben Markham, Rebuilding Ben, whatever, where I'll be talking through all that stuff. I'm glad you caught this too. Thank you. If any of you ever have questions, please feel free to ask those. If you've got questions, it's probably safe to say that somebody else has questions as well, and I'm happy to answer those. Thank you all. I greatly appreciate it. Everybody have a great weekend. Stay safe, and I will see you all next week. Now let's see if I can figure out how to shut all this stuff down. Have a good one. And in YouTube, I'm going to shut you down too.